Welcome to the Moral Premise Storycraft Podcast, Episode 1. I'm your host, Stan Williams. In yesterday's headlines, I read, "The Negative Equity Time Bomb. U.S. homeowners lost $108.4 billion in equity this year, with 200,000 at risk of going underwater if property prices fall another 5%. I haven't checked the value of our home lately, although real estate taxes are due next month, and evidently the taxable value of our old ranch house has gone up again. But a casual wandering about the house and property suggests that a variety of negative equity time bombs exist. There is the scrap metal sculpture we call Draper. Draper is rusting in the yucca garden behind the garage. In the garage, stored in a dark corner, we have a 150-foot, 2-inch diameter anchor rod, an old hemp rope that weighs in at over 100 pounds, useful for anchoring off Catalina Island in California. We live in Michigan. The story principle at work in these things is irony, the use of language or the juxtaposition of setting, plot, characters, theme, style, or tone that signify the opposite. Equity signifies wealth. Time bombs signifies poverty. Thus, equity time bombs is ironic and grabs our attention, as that headline does. The most famous ironic pitch for a story is perhaps Snakes on a Plane. Samuel Jackson says it was the title alone that made him take the title role of the 2006 film, and legend claims that John Hefferman's pitch to the studio was also only the title. The greater the irony, the greater the hook that piques interest. If you look for it, irony is ubiquitous to the human condition. Here's a story I call Ceramic Donald. Pam and I were traveling in Florida. At an obscure tourist trap, we wandered into a gift shop piled high with trappings that tourists collect for no particular reason other than to satisfy their predilection for impulsivity. Tripping through the shop, we came to a table on which were displayed a dozen or so ceramic sculptures. There were vases, some tall and skinny, others short and squat, all with big holes in the top, supposedly for flowers, decorative grasses, or cattails. They weren't particularly attractive, although they were colorful and glossy as ceramic pieces tend to be. Behind the table stood two women, one tall, one short, middle age, otherwise nondescript but maudlin and yet alert in appearance. Dark clothes, black sooty gray and a touch of brown, hung on them like rags in a mechanic's washroom. Ostentatiously, they were there to answer questions about the ceramic objects d'art, should any arise. Were they, the women, the sculptures, or consignment agents? I didn't know. On each ceramic piece were small rectangular white stickers with prices marked in scrawled blue ballpoint pen. My eyes went to the tallest of the objects, a cactus-like green and blue vase that stood 2 feet tall. It was attached to a large replica of a yellow rubber ducky. I leaned over the piece and oogled the price tag, $12,633. "Wow," I said. "You must think we're made of money," and shook my head in disbelief. I couldn't imagine why anyone would want the ugly thing at any price. Where would they put it, I wondered. Perhaps in the back of a dark storage closet, to be discovered at our death by grandchildren, who would immediately take the hideous piece to the sidewalk and crown it with a sledgehammer. The women said nothing, their expressions expressionless. I looked around the table at the other price tags, $600, $450, $1,200. All were more money than the two of us had in our combined bank accounts, including our IRA stocks. It was nuts. Who would buy this stuff? We were about to turn away when a small creation at the edge of the table caught our attention. At first, it looked like a small, squat pumpkin, about 7 inches tall. Like the others, it was a glossy ceramic object, but instead of a hole in the top for weeds, it had hair. Not real hair, but a ceramic recreation of hair in orange flowing locks. The top half of the object was covered in soft orange and yellow blotches, evenly spread about the top and sides. Below the hair was a face. The face we recognized. It was an impressionistic likeness of Donald Trump. A head bust, but not of marble or brass or gold or silver. It was ceramic. But it was cute and endearing, actually. Whoever created it apparently liked the Donald. Sitting askew on Donald's head, so as not to totally cover his locks, was a real tweed wool, not ceramic, men's flat cap, like a British gentleman might wear on a dreary, damp day, herding his sheep or playing golf between rain squalls. "That's really cute," said Pam. "Yes, I agree," I said. "How much is it?" asked Pam. I removed Donald's brown tweed cap. On his ceramic orange hair was a tiny white price tag. $20. $20, exclaimed Pam. "We've got that much, don't we?" "Yes, I think so," I said. "Let's get it," said Pam. The two women behind the table groaned with disgust, although it was not clear if the groan and the disgust were because the Donald was so cheap and they would be poor for yet another day, or if they disliked the Donald for other reasons. "But I don't like the cap," I said. "It doesn't match." I had no more said that than the tall woman quickly removed the brown tweed wool cap from Donald's head and replaced it with a similar cap that was a perfect match of fuzzy orange and yellow blotches. "Perfect," I said. "We'll take it." Another stereo groan from the women. The one on the left said, "With tourists and state sales tax, that will be $26. With hopeful derision, she said, "Do you have that much?" We pooled our resources. After counting out several crumpled up $1 and $5 bills and loose coins, we had only $17.23. "I'll write a check," I said. "We'll have to clear it with your bank before you leave," the woman on the right said. So I wrote a check for $26. The short woman called the bank on a speakerphone. "Yes, that's fine, it's fine, just fine," the banker said. "They have plenty of money, that's fine, just fine. It's a really good check, really good." And so the tall woman produced a used plastic bag from Thrifty Food Mart. The bag had a small hole in the bottom. She put the Donald in the bag, and Pam and I tripped home with our new object art. It was not destined for the storage closet. We would put it next to the 4-foot-tall ceramic angel with the brass trumpet. Like the angel, we decided the children would argue over the Donald when we died. The moral premise statements, a key to successful storytelling, are designed to be ironic. They pitch opposites, virtue and vices, bad natural law consequences versus the good. In 2 movies Pam and I watched lately, the irony was thick. Sound of Freedom is the true story of a chaste Christian man with 6 children who attempts to rescue children kidnapped into sexual slavery. In Indiana Jones, The Dial of Destiny, we watched an 80-year-old archaeologist, Harrison Ford, confront his advanced age in an action-adventure film that even a young man would find impossible. A generic attempt at a moral premise statement in all these might be, ignoring irony in storytelling leads to a dull tale and poor box office, but celebrating irony in storytelling leads to an interesting tale and a box office hit. Thanks for listening. As a priest ironically said to me, just remember, if you're too big a sinner to be a Christian, you'll make a great Catholic. You can read more about the moral premise, irony, and my latest novel, The Wizard Clip Haunting, a true ironic tale of the first American haunted house and exorcism, and other equity time bombs at stanwilliams.com. Until next time, embrace irony.